Good morning. How are we all doing? I wasn't actually going to record it. But I realized that what I'm doing today, I'm still working on my Sanguinary guard, is the bases, and that might make an interesting video. So yeah, that's what I'm doing this morning, working on these guys. We're pretty much done with them. I'm pretty happy how they've turned out. I'm not sure about the power weapons. I've just applied a glaze to them to try and knock back some of the white. I think I was a bit overzealous, but from a distance I think they're going to look fine. So what I'm doing just now is just covering all these statues with grey before I go on and do the actual bases. These are going to tie in with my Blood Angels army, and also, well, which right now consists of Dante, which I painted for a, well, just to get out. You know, I had it in me that I wanted to paint him. I think I told the story about Sanguinius on another video, but anyway, yeah, I wanted to paint that model, so I did that, and I gave him a desert base because I thought it stood out against the gold, which means that all my Blood Angels now will have this this base, and the statues are on Dante's base are grey, so that's what I'm doing for these guys. But I wanted to do the basing just because I'm not feeling the models as much as I was a few days ago, and what I find, if you're ever feeling like that, what's that adage I heard from Peachy? It was faces and bases. Get the face done, get the base done, and you'll probably feel much better. So that's what we're working on. That's one coat. They're pretty much all standing on some kind of tactical rock. Or statue in this case. I'm also testing out different music for the stream. What I have on the background. I noticed for the other videos I've put up, I keep getting a copyright notification. There's been no action taken or anything. I don't really know a lot about that. So this is the soundtrack to a game that was cancelled by Games Workshop. Adeptus Titanicus Dominus, which is a cool as hell name. So we'll see if this triggers a copyright. I probably should have washed the statue first before, because the gold prime really isn't great for getting paint to adhere to, but 2 thin coats will be fine. I noticed that we were up to, I think we're over 20 now, or is it 30 subscribers? It's awesome to see that. Definitely not too far off the 50 that I'm hoping to get. That's the goal. Once I hit 50, I think things are a little less nerve-wracking, because it means I can stream. I have no idea how popular these types of videos are. I know mine aren't, because, you know, I'm not entirely sure of the service I am providing with the videos of a stream of me just rambling and rough and ready painting. A stream might work. I'm just happy to be able to talk about Warhammer. Or at least talk to myself about Warhammer. without coming across as a mad person. Not that there's terribly much going on. There was the Leontis book that got announced yesterday. I think it was yesterday. The Leontis book. It did look good. It does look good. I'm probably not going to pick it up because my shelves are full of books right now that are on my, to read list that probably won't ever actually happen. So I don't need another book that's going to go into there. And I've also run out of shelf space. For anyone that doesn't know, I am a massive Black Library fan though. I have read sort of 99% of the Horus Heresy series. There's about 3 books I've not finished. And they're all in the the last part of the series. And I've read all the Siege books. And a bunch of other ones besides the 40k books and whatnot. I don't really read Warhammer, the fantasy version. Although I bought that new one. What was it called? Graham McNeil. About the Bretonnians. But after I bought it and after I had it sitting on the shelf, I realized I'm not a fantasy guy. I'm not a fan. And that's okay. Not everything has to be for everybody. So yeah, I gave the Leontis book a bit of a wide berth. Or I'm going to, I think. It's a cool looking book though, it does look cool, and the description does sound awesome, so if I was an Imperial Guard player, I would probably be all over that. I think. I'm trying to remember the last Warhammer book I read. Must have been one of the Heresy books. And what I did for that is I started off reading them all. It was actually the books that got me into this again. Like in 2020 during the event, I picked up Master of Mankind by Aaron Denski-Bowden, just to read as a standalone, I think it was. And my goodness, that book was awesome. That's a great book. It has its flaws, I think. I'm not particularly fond of the ending. But it was a great book. And so I started reading the Heresy. And I got to book 17, I think it was. And then I realized if I'm wanting to make it to the Siege of Terra, I have to go quicker. Because the Siege of Terra books were coming out, I think. What was the book that had come out? I think it was Saturnine. Unfortunately, I had no idea about Saturnine or really Dan Abnett or anything like that at the time. So I passed on it, and then I carried on reading the Heresy at like a sped up way. So I kind of went back. I looked up a bunch of like speed reading lists, and the one that I found was from a channel called Winter's SEO that I'm sure you will know. And I managed to get through the Heresy really quickly to get to the Siege, and then I read all the Siege books. Which, yeah, I mean, there were some duds in there too. But, read all them. And then I went back and started filling in the gaps, the books that I missed. So, I think, like I said, the 3 books I've not finished are... I think if the series ends on 54, I've not read 53, 52, and 51. So I'm nearly there. But I had to take a break. I was kind of done with it for a little while. So I've been reading A Song of Ice and Fire. Which are long. Like, those books are long. It's ridiculous. The last one, like, I listened to most of my books on Audible. when I'm driving or I'm walking. I think I might have to let them dry a bit more. And those books, yeah, they're like, one of them's, the one that I'm on at the moment, Storm of Crows or something? It's 48 hours long. Pro tip for if you are listening to audiobooks, put it on 1.2 speed. Give your brain like 10 minutes of just powering through it. Ew, that's not worked, is it? Yeah, power through it on 1.2 speed and you'll find that it's a lot easier to listen to. You'll get through it so much quicker and you won't notice. This is coming along. That's better. Right. So we've got the initial coat down for the stone, so while that all dries, in fact I'll work backwards. We'll skip on to the, what's it called? Armageddon dust. The soundtrack's so good. Hell yeah. Normally I go for chilled out music in the morning. But like I said, I'm trying to avoid these copyrights. We'll see what happens with this one. If you look into this game, like the game itself was like finished, but as far as I can tell. And I wonder what happened. If anyone knows, let me know. Something to do with licensing or whatever, I guess. Which is a pity. The world needs better Warhammer games. Space Marine 2, that was excellent. I enjoyed that campaign for Space Marine 2. I haven't played it much, though. That's the thing. Like, the longevity of that game is a worry. I played the extra co-op mission thing that they brought out, the operation, against the Bio Titan. I did it like twice, and I'm like, well, I've seen that now. I've played it on the hardest difficulty, so it's not like I'm missing out on anything. Which is funny, because when the game came out, I remember everyone who was playing Darktide was like, oh no, woe is me, it's going to be the death of Darktide, and it seems that Darktide is doing extremely well anyway. So yeah, that's the Armageddon dust. You want to kind of just put that in there, make it a bit lumpy. Because this is, you know, blown sand that's gone everywhere. Might have to get the hairdryer out. I told you I use this brush for everything. And the thing is, it's not like I'm short on brushes. I've got a ton of brushes, but it's a bit like if you play a video game and you get like health pots or health potions or something, and you're always saving them. Oh no, I might need them later. So I'm exactly the same with these brushes. I never use them. I've got a whole set of like, is it Artis Opus? They did like these like beginner sets, and I haven't touched them because they're my special brushes. Apparently the Sanguinary guard, bless them, were not special enough. I tell you what would be special though. Lionel Johnson, Primarch of the First Legion. Primarch of the Dark Angels, I suppose you should say. He's getting a Christmas box, and I'm sorely tempted. But the problem is, I do have these guys. Like, my Blood Angels need doing. So I'm probably going to pass. God, is that over already? That was quick. Alright. Oh. Yeah, so it looks like a cool box. You got a bunch of the Terminators, some of their Blade Guard that they've got, their special Blade Guard, and the Primarch. For it's gonna be what, £125? And they've got the Knight one as well, the Imperial Knight box, which I'm incredibly tempted by as well. One Imperial Knight and is it four armigers? The thing is, I've got one Knight painted, ready to go. I have another Knight sitting in a box, and I have 2 armigers. So I kind of don't need it. I don't really need it. And I'm trying to cut down on spending for the sake of it. Like these products, although they might go out of stock, I was about to say they'll be on the shelf forever, but they won't. You know, we know how Games Workshop work. But there'll always be something else to buy. It's like the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Let it go, Indy. Let it go. I am incredibly tempted by Space Wolves that are coming up. At least that's the rumor. I always fancied buying one of those, what are they called? The transport ship things that the Space Wolves have. They're very cool, the skimmers. They're supposed to be like longboats or something. Again, really thematic unit. If you've ever seen the display at Warhammer World that has them, it's so good. There was an absolute beautiful Space Wolf army in Armies on Parade on the community website, the Warhammer community website. Absolutely totally inspiring army. My biggest problem is that I reach a point when I'm painting miniatures, I'm probably at it now, where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done. I want to be done, rather. I'm ready to be moving on and painting and building something else. So my attention span for models is quite low. You know, you get the Golden Demon people that can spend like a year or whatever painting one model or one squad or something. And I don't have that in me. I would much rather be put it this way, I'd much rather be an army painter than like a character painter, if you know what I mean. Is anyone else like that? I would imagine most of us are probably like that. Most of us just paint to... Actually, I don't know. Do you think that most people paint to play? Or they paint for the sake of it? I wonder which is the larger. The people that play or people that just paint? Hang on. Need some tea. I never thought I'd play when I started again. Like I said, it was all due to COVID. I don't even know if I can say that. Can you say that on YouTube? Can you talk about COVID? You still get, you know, banned or whatever. Not banned, but like, they don't push your channel as much. But during the event, I was listening to audiobooks, and then they came out with this magazine called Imperium. Like a Partworks, so a subscription magazine. You've probably seen them. And I got that, and my intention was I would just paint. I would sit in the house and I would paint the models, and I did that for like, must have been at least a year, maybe even two. And I ended up with a Necron army, like most of a combat patrol for sisters, most of the combat patrol for Admech, most of a combat patrol for, was there another one? No, so Necrons, Ultramarines, Admech, and sisters. Yeah. And then after I'd done that, I realized I kind of want to buy more. But if I buy more, I should really try and play. So I went to my local GW that did like introductory games and stuff like that, and learned to play nights. That was good fun. And from there, I've just started playing. I even went to my first tournament, first proper tournament back in June. Which, I didn't do too badly for my first one. I think I went like 2 and 4 or something like that. 2 wins, 4 losses. So I wasn't at the bottom, but I was near it. It's good fun though. Yeah, I like accidentally collected Necrons. I've never put them on the table. Maybe I should put them on the table. Right, let's have a look. Normally what I do, you see, is I'd just let it dry, or I'd get the hairdryer out, but because I'm making a recording a video, I just want to keep plowing through. But we'll go back to the statue and do another layer there. I'm starting to think about what I'm doing next on these with this army. So once I've painted these, I think what I'm going to do is it's tough, isn't it? Death Company is what I should do. Death Company with jump packs, I think. Or the captain model. I was kicking myself about that, actually, right? So if you've watched my other video, or you've been paying attention, you might notice I've only got 5 of these Sanguinary guards painted. The other one is undercoated and sitting there waiting. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted to make a full form painting video for him. Start to finish, one model, like you see on all the other channels. But this one would be mine. So I wanted to do that. And then I realized that the captain is pretty much a Sanguinary guard. Especially if you paint him gold, which I am planning on painting him gold. These guys are going to be, I think it's Tycho's old company, because I like Tycho. I wasn't around for the time when Tycho was in the, when he was in the Death Company. I remember Tycho having that model with the, half a face. I have him in metal somewhere, probably out in my garage. So I'm going to do his company. So anyway, my point is, if you paint him gold, he's pretty much a Sanguinary Guard. So I could have used him as the video, and I could have been painting all 6 of the Sanguinary Guards. So I don't know what I'll do. It's a cool model. I'm looking forward to it. I've got 2 of them. I'm not really sure why I ended up with 2. So I'm planning on painting one gold at least. I'm actually tempted to pick up a third and go 1 gold, 1 Death Company. And oh no, I got some stuff in his shoe. Yeah, 1 Death Company, 1 gold, 1 red. Because again, it's a really cool model, but it is pretty much just a Sanguinary Guard. I've got to paint the banner, of course, as well, don't I? I keep forgetting about that. I think I might do another coat of Wraithbone first. Again, I'm gutted I didn't just leave it off. Probably need to get some more of that. Everywhere you look right now, it's Sanguinary Guard online. Lots of people painting Sanguinary Guard. They're such good models. Or rather, maybe it's more about what they represent, what they are, rather than the models themselves, because there was quite a bit of controversy about them when they came out, which I was thoroughly part of that. I wasn't even going to buy them. That's why I ended up with 2 captains. I was not going to buy the Combat Patrol because I did not like the Sanguinary Guard models. So I went out, and when they got announced, I went to my local hobby shop and I bought 2 boxes of the old Sanguinary Guard while they were still being produced in stock and everything. And I was just going to use them. But then, I think it was the Blood Angels commander. He showed a comparison of the old Death Company with the new Death Company. And the size was incredibly jarring. It was, they looked like squats. And I was like, oh, unless you're going to go down the route of like all Firstborn and you're going to make a proper like classic army, it's going to look weird. It's going to look odd. Oh, we've gone back to that one, have we? That soundtrack. Yeah, so that's when I decided to do this kit bash, which I'm super pleased with. I think they look great. Best of both worlds. I don't know, what happened there? Okay. Oh yeah, I've got one more. And then I think I'm buggered because none of it's dry. And as much as I would like to just power through, the wash won't work. I would love to be able to find a copy of this game. Like, look it up, seriously. Adeptus Titanicus Dominus. Go and have a look at the footage. Not right now, but go and have a look at the footage when you get a second. It's so good. I'm gutted we lost it and we never got the game. Titans. Maybe it's because they're bringing out that there's rumors that there's going to be a Total War like Heresy game or 40k game or something. Right then. Well, that needs to dry. That needs to dry. So, I guess I will pause here and return when they've dried up, I guess. And we're back. So, let that dry for a little bit, and we can move on to the dry brush. Normally, you would apply a wash, of course, to a base like this, but for a desert base, I don't think it works, so we're just going straight to Screaming Skull. Yeah, that looks good. I suppose what I probably should have done is done the wash. Oh. What I probably should have done is the wash on the rocks first, because you could probably just dry brush the rocks with this same colour. Normally I do like Dawnstone or something, but it would have worked. It's pretty good, huh? Oh. I keep thinking I'm nearly done. I'm like, oh, it's because I'm doing the bases. Normally that's like the last thing that I do. So I'm like, oh great, I'm done. But of course I've got quite a bit to do. We've got the banner to do for the ancient. I may do something about. Let me just move this because I keep hitting the thing. Whee. I've been thinking about doing something with the blood drops. At the moment, all I've done is used Flesh Tearers Red. And I was tempted to leave it, but I think I may go an extra mile and add some highlights to them. I haven't decided yet. I keep trying to tell myself these, although they're, you know, elite blood angels or whatever, but it's just a squad. The real character is Dante, who will be with them, and I don't necessarily want to take attention away from him. I think the fact that these have got all the bling on them already, I don't really want to overdo it too much, so. I did end up using the hairdryer to dry this off, so it's created these like little pockets. You can see one there. What happens is when you use a hairdryer, if you've got these big sections, it heats the air up inside them and inflates them like a balloon. There's another one there you can see. Yeah, about there. I've squished that down. You see I poked a hole in it, but ultimately it doesn't really dry properly once it's done that, so it just means I use too much. So what I do to fix that is that's where I put my tufts. That's where they go. So you can't see it, it doesn't matter. But to be fair, this is like I said, a desert sandy base, so it's not such a big deal. That's how I always imagine Baal. A desert, but I think in the books it's referred to as like a reddish kind of dust. I'm guessing like Mars, so a Martian base would be probably more appropriate, but we can pretend this is some kind of outpost. Somewhere the Blood Angels have been over the last 10,000 years. Nice. Okay, so next we will take some Agrax Earthshade, and this is for the ruins. One of the other things you can do, if you've got access to it, is when this dries, I think it's called some kind of camo shade. It begins with an A. Armenio camo shade or something. It's like a green wash, and you can put a little bit on in the recesses, and it kind of dries and it looks like moss or some kind of vegetation growing in the cracks. That's what I like to do. Everyone says don't let it pull. I don't actually mind it pulling. Personally. It's a very cool statue piece that they're standing on. Makes you wonder what the whole thing might have looked like. It's obviously, like I said, a hero of the Blood Angels. It's got the blood drop on it. And a wreath, the laurel of victory, because of course they might not want to be, the fans might not want them to be, but the Blood Angels are a Codex compliant chapter. Or Codex adjacent at best, I suppose. It was actually interesting. I haven't read a Blood Angels Codex for many, many years, like 2nd edition. And it was interesting for me to read that the Blood Angels use the Codex as a source of calm to try and fight off the Black Rage. The teachings of the Codex, when they apply them, it allows them to focus. So they're actually fans of the Codex Astartes. As are most chapters, you know, memes aside. Imagine having a book written by a Primarch. Something that he poured all his knowledge, everything he knew about warfare and other things as well. There's stuff in there about governance and running worlds and compliances and all that stuff. Imagine having that access to that knowledge. Like Sun Tzu's The Art of War, but like dialed up to 40,000 or something. Even the Space Wolves use it. They don't appreciate the doctrines, of course. The organizational traits of how to organize a chapter, but they'll use the tactics. It's my Ultramarines self coming out there. I love the Ultramarines. I think they're great. A lot of what people think when they think about the Ultramarines just isn't true. But the Blood Angels, I mean, who doesn't love Blood Angels? Is there anyone that doesn't think they're awesome? I've never met anyone that goes, you know what, I don't like the Blood Angels. Everyone loves Blood Angels. Which is perfect, given that everyone was supposed to love Sanguinius. Which is why when Horus killed him, it was such a shock to everybody. Unlikely to have dried in time, is it? Yeah. As much as I'd like to get the hairdryer again, I don't think you guys would appreciate that much. What can I do in the meantime? I could do the rims, but then how am I supposed to hold the model to paint it? I think we might have to do the hairdryer again. I mean, if you've not used this technique before, by the way, and it's literally, you know, you take a hairdryer, turn it on to high setting, I do anyway, and then use the hairdryer on it. Nice and simple. One of the things that I use to speed up. So just like that. So yeah, I will probably come back in a second after I've done that, because you don't want to hear me hair drying everything. Back once more. So that's that done. So now it's just a question of some Dawnstone. On a smaller dry brush. Make sure to get plenty of that rubble. You could paint that a different color if you wanted to, I suppose. Could be earth. Same with the, I don't know the correct term, but the struts coming out of there. What I'm probably going to do with that is paint it black and then dry brush it with some Necron compound. I'm trying to keep this video to an hour, so I've probably got about 10 minutes left. I think we can get these done in an hour. 5 bases, 1 hour. It's not bad, is it? 20 minutes a base. I suppose that's quite slow, actually. I just use the regular tufts from GW, but there are some really cool ones out there that I think would go better with this. From like, what is it, Gamer Grass? They've got some awesome bases, tufts. That's pretty good, doesn't it? It's even got an eye. Have they got an eyeball? A lens? Iris. Funky. Oh, I need to buy a new ring light. I'm so sick of banging this every time I put my brush in one direction. In the wrong direction. You see, that's where the camo shade could go, just into the cracks in there, along there. Make it look like some hardy plant is growing. One more. That'll do. I'm pushing it for time today, but never mind. Tufts then. So, yeah, we'll go for corpse grass. If you haven't used super glue, if you don't use super glue for your tufts, I thoroughly recommend doing so. Get yourself a pair of tweezers. Oh no. And then put down a blob of super glue where you want the tufts to go. We'll do a big one and a small one, I think. Oh, I forgot about the black, didn't I? The struts. I mean, we're not finished with these models, so... Ooh, that's nasty. That'll need touching up. How did that happen? I'm not even sure what colour that is. You see that there? Brutal. That looks like a dry brush from the Screaming Skull. That's okay. We can fix that. I'll do another one around here. One of the important things, if you're using super glue, obviously, is not to don't store them away for about 24 hours. Make sure you leave them out, because otherwise it dries and it looks horrendous. It'll do that spotting that you've probably seen them on your models before, perhaps. If you leave it out so it can dry in the open air, you won't get that. Nope. Oh no. There we go. Yeah, it looks right, doesn't it? And then, to finish it off, because I'm going to be done for today probably, we just take a bit of Steel Legion drab, thin it down, not too much though, because you want it to be to cover well. What do you call it? Opaque. This is my rim of choice. My ultramarines are based in Astro granite with black rims, but I want to do something different for these guys. I seem to always use the Astra granite basing. Yeah, so you might have to do 2 coats there. Let it dry, 2 coats. But yeah, so that's my bases. Hold them there for these guys. I hope that was useful for somebody. Show up. I'm going to go and do the rest of them now. Finish off the rims, and then yeah. So what needs to be done with these guys? I got to do some repairs, like I said, where I've messed up the dry brush on that other model. I've got to finish the banner. Think about what I'm going to do with the blood drops. But other than that, I think we're done. I think we're finished. We'll move on to something else, or I'll do the. Remember, I've still got this guy to do, start to finish. I might do him. We will see. Right. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If anyone's made it this far, I do thank you. If you can hit the subscribe button, if you haven't already. I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers so that I can do live streams. The goal is to do live streams every morning, or at least every other morning, as often as I can. Nice and early, UK time, normally about anywhere between 6:30 to 8:30. It would be my starting kind of time, and that's the goal at the moment anyway. So thank you very much for watching. Have a good morning, or the rest of your day.